What's up guys, it's Amanda, welcome back to my channel, and now that we are properly caffeinated, let's get into today's video. So, as many of you know, I recently got back from a 3-week excursion to Europe, and I have been recovering for the last week from a pretty nasty sinus infection, so if my nose is still a little bit nasally and my voice sounds a little bit off, that's why. But I decided to kind of take it easy on myself this week, and instead of diving right back into something crazy, difficult, and detailed like one of my zodiac illustrations, I decided to kind of reflect on my trip and go through some of the photos I took while I was in Europe and paint some of them. So I was kind of itching to get back into watercolors and play around with some color schemes and just kind of practice and refine my skills a little bit. After taking 3 weeks off of drawing, I was a little bit rusty getting back into it, so doing something like this that is a little bit out of my element allows me to forgive myself a little bit more and just take it a little bit easy getting back into the groove of things. So I took this picture while I was in Madrid, and I just thought that like the streets were so cool and the lighting was so cool, and the contrast of the blue sky against the yellow buildings was something that I just really vibed with. You guys know my favorite color is yellow, as you can probably tell by my workstation. So this was a lot of fun for me to do. So I took this photo myself and used it as reference, and I'm working in a Strathmore watercolor sketchbook. I believe this is the 400 or 500 series. It was a little bit of a pricier sketchbook, but I actually really love the quality of the paper in here, and it's been a lot of fun to work with. I don't use this sketchbook as often as I should, but I do really enjoy it when I do use it. So that is what I am using today. I don't remember the exact name of it, but if I can find it, I will link it down below. And if you guys are ever curious about the art supplies that I use in my videos, I usually have a link to my Amazon list down below where you can purchase my most used / favorite art supplies, and a little bit of a commission goes back to me and supporting my channel. So if you guys are ever interested in that, that is always linked down below. Some other things that I'm using in this video are my Cotman 12 pan watercolor palette. I love this palette, though I do feel like I'm outgrowing it a bit. It does feel a little bit small and restricted. I do like the limited color palette, but I'm also kind of open to trying out different watercolor brands, and I recently asked you guys on Instagram what your favorite watercolor palettes were, and I'm interested in trying out some new ones. My birthday is coming up, so maybe I will ask for a couple new watercolor palettes. And then I just have my little 6-pan or 6-well empty mixing palette, just because I don't like cleaning the Winsor & Newton Cotton watercolor palette that much. It's kind of a pain with how small it is, so I've kind of outgrown it and moved into this extra mixing pan set just to kind of make room. And so you can kind of see I'm testing out the colors on the upper half of the page and then using that to gauge whether or not I feel like it's accurate enough. One thing I will say is that I was not striving for photographic accuracy in this painting. I was mostly just trying to capture the essence of the photo, and I do feel like I was able to do that relatively well. Though something to keep in mind is that the perspective is horrifically off, so if you're looking at that element in particular, you're not going to be too pleased, but I do feel like I was able to really push my values and play with the limited color scheme, and I do think that I did that rather well. So I'm building up the values here on the buildings and kind of just sketching in the doors and the windows and those kinds of elements just as a way to kind of get a feel for what I'm doing. I did sketch down some very loose guidelines at the beginning of the video, but those had pretty much all washed away at that point, so I don't even really know why I bothered. Didn't really help me out very much, but one thing that I loved about this photo was the perspective and kind of all the little details in the doors. There's a little bit of a street lamp that was visible, an umbrella, lots of colorful plants, just overall a really cool photo. It's probably my favorite photo that I took, and so I definitely knew that I wanted to paint this one. I may do a couple more of these kind of quick study watercolor paintings of my trip, just because I did take lots of pictures while I was there, and it's just a cool way for me to talk about my trip. So I think that is what I'm going to use the rest of this video to do. So like I said, I was in Europe for 3 weeks. I was in Madrid for 2 of those weeks for a class as part of my graduate program. And then in between the 2 weeks of classes, I took a weekend trip to Dublin, Ireland. And then after my class ended, I did a week in Italy and I visited Rome and Florence. And I traveled with my classmates, and then my boyfriend flew out there and met me as well. So it was a lot for 3 weeks. There was a lot of traveling, a lot of go, 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 a lot of walking, and just a lot of like really fun and exciting things. I definitely think it caught up to me because by the second day in Rome, I was coming down with a sinus infection that hung with me for the rest of the trip, and flying on a plane for 12 hours with a sinus infection is no fun, and I definitely think that kind of got me off on the wrong foot and sort of made me worse off than I would normally be. But it was a lot of fun. I was definitely ready to be home by the end of the trip because I am a homebody by nature, but I had a blast and I cannot wait to travel more. This was my first trip out of the US, so it was a very fun and exciting adventure filled with firsts around every corner, which was a blast. Definitely took me out of my comfort zone, but I really enjoyed every minute of it, and that is something I never thought I would say. So yeah, I'm happy to be back. I have a much lighter course load this summer, so hopefully that means I can hang out with you guys and do more videos and just really step my game up as far as art goes and just try and push myself. I'm so excited to work on the Zodiac project again and just do a lot of other fun illustrations that I've kind of had on the back burner for a while school was picking up, but now that I have the free time, who knows what I'm going to do with myself. So I will probably continue talking about my Europe adventures in future videos. Hopefully you guys don't mind. If you missed any of the fun, you can go to my Instagram. I do have all of the highlights saved, and I have them organized by country, so you can kind of just see the glimpses of my trip over there. But that is like pretty much it. I actually think I'm gonna cut out the voiceover a little bit early and go to bed and get some rest, but hopefully you guys like this video. I had a lot of fun painting this illustration for you today, and just to keep you guys updated, my store is back open, so if you want to get this as a print or just go check out any of my other social media accounts, those are linked down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you and I love you as always, and I look forward to seeing you in another video very, very soon. Bye guys!